The fires are lit. knowledge.
Oh, hi, Brooke. Can I ask you a question? Actually, never mind. Don't worry about it.
Okay, you're several lines ahead of me here. Let's start with me saying, hi, Balara.
Right. Okay. It's just, you know, the elf thing. We're fighting our gods. Our gods. It feels a little surreal, and I know surreal.
Not like we had much of a choice.
Yeah.
So, what was your question?
Those are our gods out there, rampaging around. Maybe people don't trust us. Maybe they shouldn't.
It isn't your fault your gods woke up and decided to destroy the world. You didn't create your gods, and you aren't them. Not anymore.
That feels too easy. Like we're not taking responsibility. And I don't know, I feel guilty. Anytime I think about it, really.
So who's that helping?
Who's what helping?
Feeling guilty.
Well, no one, I guess, but then what should I do?
I don't know. But you're kind and compassionate, and that matters. It makes a difference.
Rook, that means a lot. Thank you. But is it really that easy? Does kindness make up for it? What my people did, I mean?
The Evaneras did those things, and they did them to your people.
Yeah. It's hard. All of it's hard. But I feel better. A little bit, anyways. Thanks for talking to me and listening to me.
I'm no bard, but I can talk. Glad it helped.
Well, you're good at it. See you later, Rook.
You know, we have more comfortable rooms and basically infinite space, so why,
Why does the trained assassin prefer a quiet, unassuming spot with good choke points?
Guess you just answered that question.
Besides, I'm closer to the coffee.
You're up late.
You're awake to notice.
Can't sleep? I know, I'm awake to ask.
I sleep when I can get it. And this place, it's too quiet for that.
Have you tried tea?
You think that works?
It does if you believe. Okay, what works then? How do you sleep?
I don't know. Chase the right bastard through the wrong ritual? It'll knock you right out. Of course, you might wake up with a new accessory.
Did you get the bastard?
Yeah, I got him. It's not the quiet. I never could sleep once work gets in my head. But what's got you up at night?
When I close my eyes, I see everything the gods have done, but not what I should do next. I don't know what's going to happen.
You and me both. Restlessness catches. Get one person in a room nervous, the whole place twitches. One person can't sleep. It's only getting later. Get out while you can.
You ever follow your own advice?
Never the good stuff.
Wow, thank you.
Any luck tracking down your mystery friend?
Orzammar has requested I stop harassing their citizens with my talk of dwarven magic.
Wish we had time to head down there and show them what you can do.
I don't think that would have helped.
But think how satisfying it would be.
Yeah. What's satisfying about being thrown in a Deep Roads prison? Orzammar takes its heritage very seriously.
So what now?
I was thinking, the voice said look to those closest to the stone. What if she never meant Orzammar?
Huh?
There is another great Tig, the original capital of the dwarves, Kal Shirak. It was lost during the First Blight, and its people survived in isolation for hundreds of years. They re-emerged, some 20 years ago?
And you think they're closer to the stone?
Orzammar can't help. What have I got to lose?
I'm curious about Kal Shirak's isolation.
The dwarves took heavy losses during the First Blight. To stop the Darkspawn from overrunning them, they closed off passages in the Deep Roads. Those that could retreated to Orzammar. Kal Shirak was lost. They abandoned the city and its people, sealed them away with the Darkspawn.
They had to. Lose a Tig or lose everyone.
Children, families. It's unforgivable.
Sometimes people have to do unforgivable things.
You've heard, haven't you, that the Kal Shirak dwarves were forced to change in order to survive. No one's really sure what that means exactly.
When we find them, you can ask. Are you sure Orzammar isn't hiding something?
Pressing them for information would be tricky. I could anger someone important. If Kal Shirak doesn't turn out, I can go back to poking at Orzammar. But not before then.
How do we get in touch with these Kal Shirak dwarves?
Already working on it. You don't spend 10 years in the Inquisition without making contacts. I should have a meeting set up by the time we're ready to leave.
Something wrong?
Got a message. Place called the Cauldron was attacked.
That's some sort of Grey Warden tavern?
It's a secret Warden readout. No idea what goes on there.
Then why are you involved?
Because whatever attacked it sounds like the Gloomhowler.
Then let's get rid of it.
Had the same thought. What's left of the Wardens are still licking their wounds. So we handle this alone. Just go to the Cauldron and get the Griffins back. You have to promise to behave, boy. Listen to every word I say, stay out of trouble, don't do anything dumb, and don't eat any.
I think we get the point.
I'm supposed to be the bodyguard. Keep that feathery butt safe.
He's up for this. Aren't you, Hassan?
I suppose.
Maybe that Turlum idea, that unity between Warden and Griffin, starts by having faith in each other.
Maybe. I suppose you were born for this sort of fight, boy. All talons and temper.
And a sharp tongue to remind you of it.
As long as he backs it up.
Must be two more.
You remember the Hall of Valor that the Lords of Fortune have? Isabella says we should get ourselves invited.
Interesting.
Just tell me when you're ready.
Well met.
How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's Crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solus and Mythal?
Mythal?
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form. Then, when Solus spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait, how do you know exactly what we saw of Solus's past?
Think upon it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories. When Mythal stood against the gods' manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
The Elven gods had access to magic beyond anything we can imagine?
To be sure, but it matters less what they possessed than what they were. You recall that the first elves were spirits, do you not? Mythal was a spirit turned elven. And when her body was struck down, to spirit she returned. Her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries, she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew. Until once again she was struck down, on this occasion by Solus. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
Then where did they... Wait. You?
As you say.
So you're the next host of Mythal?
Believe it or not, as you choose.
What? That was like how Elgernon and Gillenane can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remained free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elgernon? Or Solus?
The last time Mythal faced Elgernon and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solus?
You may recall he murdered Mythal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right. You would have met Solus in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mythal's memories. At the time, I thought Solus a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments. He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mathal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
This isn't the strangest thing I've heard, but it's close.
'Tis difficult to describe, even now. Mathal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me, but I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused? In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again. And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mathal's and of those who bore her.
You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mathal.
I am not Mathal in her entirety, but yes, the Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solus?
Solus talks a lot about what has to be done, being forced to make hard choices. But it's like he's trying to talk himself into it. I think, deep down, he doesn't entirely believe what he's saying.
'Tis exactly like the old wolf to tie himself into the most intricate knots. 'Tis not malice which made Solus your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion. Yet Solus was once beloved of Mathal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
If that's what it takes.
Such determination. Have you not even a tremor of doubt?
Wouldn't do me any good.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mathal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solus recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mathal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you. Find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
All of that sounded great until survive the encounter.
You know Solus, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mathal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mathal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient. This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mathal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
If she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Algernon and Gillenane, or against the Dreadwolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solus is elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Algernon. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand, inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards, Mythal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other?
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evanurus, and then by Solus, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
Thank you for the information, Morgan.
I only ask that you reflect upon what I have said. The Dreadwolf is not so apart from the world as he thinks. There, you have the advantage of him.
A god's fragment, sharper than the whole.